Jazzcast Pros.
Hello and welcome back to High Vibe Table Talks. I am your host, Marshawn Hargrave, and I'm excited about today's topic because I have literally been thinking about this topic for weeks. And if you know me in real life, you know I have an obsession with Wicked. Not an obsession, but like I just love it so much. And as I was watching Wicked for Good a couple weeks ago, we went the day it came out. I just felt like there were so many lessons in Wicked that relate to entrepreneurship, and I wanted to talk about that here today. So we are going to talk about what I think entrepreneurs can pull from Wicked and just take as lessons into their business. Welcome to High Vibe Table Talks, the podcast to help you, the current or aspiring solopreneur, navigate the messy middle so you can make both an income and an impact. Hi, I'm Rashawn, and I love creating safe spaces for women to be courageous in their dreams. After spending a decade working in sales for a startup and talking with hundreds of other women entrepreneurs, I know it can be lonely, but you can do this. We are having impactful conversations with people walking similar paths to you, so pull up a seat. This is High Vibe Table Talks. Most of you are probably listening, so you can't see, but I am recording from someplace I don't think I've ever recorded from here before. It is my bedroom. And I want to start off by saying that because, one, this time of year is chaotic and hectic, and I needed to record this today, but this was the only place that I was going to be able to do it from. And so if you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, a mom, just a human being, and have days where it's like, I'm giving all that I have, and that has to be enough for today, I want to give you a round of applause, a pat on the back, a good job. Because this time of year is just crazy and we have to give ourselves some grace. Secondly, this is why accountability is so important, because if I didn't have to meet with Chassie and she wasn't going to be like, excuse me, where's your podcast? I would have just put this off and been like, I'll do it another time, which is what I did all week, because I met with her earlier this week and was like, oh yeah, I'm going to record them today. And then today came and went, and then the next day came and went, and now here we are. So accountability is important when you are just in life, just in general. There's a reason why it works. So we are going to talk about what entrepreneurs can pull from Wicked. And the first one is my favorite. It's connected to what I've been talking about a lot on the podcast recently. And it's that Elphaba in the second one, she is the epitome of somebody else's judgment of me is none of my business. And I think that we do this so much in entrepreneurship because our lives are so out in the public now. Like, we put something out there and then we immediately think that like people are going to see it and they're going to judge me and they're going to laugh or whatever. And the public image of Elphaba is obviously not good. It's really like people think she's the Wicked Witch. And she knows what the right thing to do is. She knows what her North Star is. And she says, well, if other people think that way about me, but this is going to be the end goal, then like, let that be their thought of who I am and what I am. And that is none of my business, because I'm just going to go keep living my life with this scarecrow. Oh, I should probably say there are some spoilers in this episode if you have not watched Wicked for Good, or don't know the whole story. So I think the first lesson is definitely like, other people's opinions of us is none of our business, and we just have to keep going and doing the things that we know are right for us and our business. Lesson number 2 is that like words really matter. So Madame Marble, the wizard, and the Tin Man started changing the words that they were using when they were referencing Elphaba, and that was what changed the public's opinion. Like in the one song of the march where the Tin Man is leading them to try to go find Elphaba, he starts to say that he has his own gripe with Elphaba, and he stops saying Elphaba and he switches it and goes the witch, because when people hear Elphaba, they see a person. When they hear the witch, it's the enemy. And just those small changes in words made a huge difference in what other people thought. And so we have to choose our words very carefully, for good or for evil. that makes a big difference. And so we have to make sure that, in your copy and in the words that you're using, you have to remember how big of an impact they're going to have when you're putting your stuff out there. Lesson number 3, I think that the movie showed how important marketing and getting your marketing stuff out there makes a difference. It's silly because it's they have these posters and they have this and they have songs and it's fantasy, but propaganda works for a reason. When I talked earlier about other people's judgments is none of our business, the point of that is you have to get your stuff out there because none of us are perfect and we're all going to make mistakes and we're going to have maybe unhappy customers. And if you are not putting or marketing yourself, whether it's in person, whether it's online, whether it's in referrals, if you're not marketing yourself, then someone may see one bad review and that's the only thing that they know about you and your business. But if they see 10 good things because you've put them out there, whether they are testimonials or they met you in person or they saw you do a talk or whatever it is, if they see 10 of those things and then one bad review, they're like, well, everybody has, a bad interaction with a customer. It just wasn't a good fit. It's kind of like a bank account. And you need to continue to make sure that you put positive things in that bank account, because if you put 10 good dollars in there, when one bad dollar comes out, you're still in the black instead of in the red. And so you have to make sure that you are marketing yourself, you're getting yourself out there, and you give people an opportunity to understand who you are, who you serve, what you do, why what you do can make a big impact on them and their life. And so just really making sure that you're showing up for your business and for yourself, because marketing works. Marketing is important, and marketing is what gives people an opportunity to know who you are and what you do and the impact that you make. And the last lesson that I have from Wicked for Good, and again, it goes back to words matter. There's a difference between being good and being kind, and the way that they use good in the movie versus the way that they use kind. And this is in both of them, because Glinda is seen as good when they talk about the things that Elphaba does. That's so kind of you. And the difference between those two things is motive. And I think that, what Glinda was doing was she wanted to look good, and she wanted other people to think that she was good. And she wanted other people's opinions of her to be, she's so good. Whereas Elphaba was kind to animals, to people, to her sister. And her motivation was because she had this North Star of morality and this is the right thing to do for humanity, versus people are going to see me in a positive light when I do this. Even in the first part where she talks, Glinda's and I came here to study, and I know that I'm going to be able to help you with being green as I finish my studies. And Elphaba's so someone you've never met, you want to fix something for them with skills that you don't have in front of all these people. And that doesn't make you kind, because she didn't even ask for you to fix anything. You can't fix it. And so she just did it because other people would perceive her as good. How I want to tie it back into entrepreneurship is that I think about why you're doing the things that you're doing. If you're posting on TikTok, is it to become viral and have all these people see what you do? Or is it to help one person feel seen by an experience that you've had, or make someone laugh, or like, what is the real motivation behind doing what you're doing? You putting a podcast episode out there, like, what do you want the end listener to really understand? And just really taking away all of the vanity stuff around it, taking your ego out of it, and just connecting human to human. Why are you taking the actions that you're doing? And I think that's really important. Good and kind can feel synonymous, but stepping back and peeling it back a couple layers, the motivation of why you're taking action is really important. And I think the last thing that I want to talk about is just how creativity will never cease to amaze me. Like, the fact that, The Wizard of Oz came out in 1939, and then through that, someone was like, but what if we understood Glinda and Elphaba before? Like, what if we stepped back and thought of, like, how did Glinda and Elphaba and the witches get to be where they are? And what if you saw the Wicked Witch of the West as a child and how she got to where she is, and to have that evolve into the screenplay? So Wicked debuted on Broadway in 2003, and so here we are 22 years later, and we're getting it on the big screen, and the adaptations that they made, and like, it's such a powerful example of what creativity can do and what it can bring to other people, and the impact that it can have on millions. And so allowing yourself space to be creative and have creative freedom and look at things from a different perspective, and just be curious instead of, our typical day-to-day to-do list. These are all the things I have to do. It's just letting ourselves play more. Blows my mind every time I think about it. I just think it's so incredible that we are able to live in a world where we got to experience that because of someone else's creativity. And so don't think less than or dampen your creativity because it's not productivity. That is all I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. I would love to hear if you have watched Wicked, if Wicked has impacted your life, any Wicked stories. I love to hear. So until next time, remember that big dreams and small steps will transform your life.